The drama of basketball returns to TNT. Reggie Miller and the rest of Team USA take on Algeria in the World Championships of Basketball. Coverage beginning next Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, live from Indianapolis, here on TNT. Caught the end of a change for third place there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. by Rusty Wallace. It's still Jeff Gordon leading, Jimmy Spencer second.
And Junior just moved into that third spot. It looks like the last few laps of the 8 car, the Bud car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the quickest car of the top 5. Man, he's hanging right at the bottom of the racetrack, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Leaders. Sorry about that. Leaders all kind of bottled up in traffic right now. There's 7th place, Jeff Burton by Kurt Busch. How about that 99 car, Dave?
Well, Jeff Burton was a little bit tight. They made an air pressure adjustment to correct for that back on lap 60, and then he went and picked up 11 spots in 53 laps. He's doing very well. And something they said over the radio, the 60 car last night in the Busch Series, Greg Biffle is his teammate, and they said, remember what the 60 did last night. So they've got some useful information from that race.
Another guy with some useful information from last night's that 41, Jimmy Spencer.
All of a sudden, Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, the last 2 laps has lost 2 spots. And it just is not able to keep up and look like he's running competitive speed.
Kenseth back to 11th spot now.
Well, now he looks like he's running okay.
He's got 2 lap cars behind him before the next one to challenge for position will come up, and that'll be Sterling Marlin, who's now up to 12.
That car looks like it gets in the corner good, but it looks like it shoots up in the middle like it's not turning in the center.
Maybe there's a reason this car went up off the bottom of the track.
Well, in this instance, it went up the racetrack.
Oh, I see why he was so slow and
helped up the racetrack.
So he'll remember that.
Oh, yeah. Checks and balances.
The emotions of racing at Bristol. When you're mad at somebody, still got to keep that concentration up. Dave?
And I was going to try to tell you something on Matt Kenseth, but nobody could give me a report as to why the car was bad, and you just saw why it was, obviously the contact. But he's had radio interference all night long. It's been incredibly difficult for him to communicate with his crew.
And it is for everybody. I mean, you know, this is the toughest place to hear your crew chief because all this noise down here is going in their mics while they're trying to talk to you in the race car, and it is so difficult to hear. Even from where we're sitting in the race cars, it's hard to hear the crew chiefs, and vice versa.
His car didn't want to stay on the bottom that time either by itself.
No, the last couple laps I've been watching, the car gets in really good, and then he slides up the center.
Little pressure on second place there. Dale Jarrett on the move. That was 18th place. He just took from Mark Martin.
And if I'm not mistaken, Jarrett pitted on the last caution flag and had fallen back to about 25th or 26th, and he is marching back to the front.
You are correct there, BP.
Be a march?
Yeah, we'll classify that. There's the scoring serial on DJ. Last week's winner at Michigan. Matt?
Well, Alan, back on lap 153, the 88 of Dale Jarrett was pulling in. The car was loose on exit. They adjusted. Battle for second. They adjusted a wedge, but the car then became too tight. They over-adjusted, so he hit it on lap 172, came in 23rd, went out 26th. Only lost 3 spots because only 26 cars were on the lead lap. They adjusted with wedge and track bar. Now the car is much better, as you can see.
And Junior's car is much better, too.
Yes, it is. A lot better than it was at the... Well, he ran so well the first 125, 30 laps and then struggled. But right now, his car is back up to that very, very good speed. You see Jeff Gordon, the leader, up there trying his best to get by John Andretti, and Junior closed in right on the back bumper.
Well, Gordon had to get out of the gas off turn 2. He kind of ran up on John, and that was all the opening Junior needed to close the gap entirely.
Tell you one thing, it brought 147,000 people to their feet.
And Andretti, the first car now 1 lap down in 26th place, has inserted himself between the top two.
I think Earnhardt will probably use that horn, BP, if John doesn't move out of the way here pretty quick.
7 cautions, 2 lead changes. I'm on the wrong end of that deal, I think.
Junior, those guys down the 8th pit. Marty, those guys down the 8th pit's pretty happy.
Oh, they're very happy right now. The car very good for Dale Jr. Not saying much on the radio because he's a little busy right now. But Benny, here's proof that people listen to your advice. Junior's team in happy hour yesterday was bottoming out on the racetrack. That was making the car tight. So you know what they did? They raised the engine up about a 1/4 inch. Didn't you tell us last week that was a big adjustment tool? As Bobby Labonte goes around, Jimmy Spence on the racetrack for the 4th position. Didn't you tell us that was a great adjustment tool? That's what Junior's team did today, and the car has really responded.
Yeah, you're right, Marty. We talked about it with our Roush Racing Team caliper car last week about how these guys, to get the car down on the racetrack, had to sometimes move the engine up. 700 pounds, they're moving it up. It doesn't seem to work, but obviously that worked very well for Dale Jr. and his crew.
Well, Jeff Gordon got through the traffic better than Dale Jr. did there, so that's allowed him to reestablish a lead of about 9/10 of a second. We're coming up on halfway in the Sharpie 500 at Bristol.